My hair okay? Is my hair okay?
You're gorgeous.
Okay. You need to be
It's overwhelmingly gorgeous.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello. Can we do that again? Today, I wish to talk to you about your meaningful life. But first, I would like to tell you a quote that sits on my desk. I have lots of quotes on my desk. Some of them you can read. This one says, light travels faster than sound. Is that correct?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to make sure before I went on. That's one reason why someone can appear bright until they open their mouth. Just saying. So one thing about talking about your meaningful life is the expansion of you. Yesterday at a natural law workshop, I spoke about expansion and contraction. I teach them together because to me, they are life. You breathe in, you exhale, you breathe in, you fill the lungs, you expand, you exhale. You do that thinking daily, moment to moment. You draw in energies that you are commingling with at any moment, at any time of your day. And then you draw inward within you to understand, to have definition and identification. So today I want to just talk about natural law. We have a tendency to recite these principles, sometimes very quickly and sometimes very slowly. And yet some of us have been reciting these for years and years and years and years. It's about a moral responsibility to yourself and the moral responsibility to do with life, and that you're on this planet and you're not a mistake. And infinite with feelings in our life. When we do, and don't be in that moment to increase, whether we recognize it or not. It isn't just a thing, and it's haven't had yet. It's that new relationship you haven't established lunch. And it's everything, and it's one thing more. It's always one thing more, no matter how sad you might be, no matter how threatened or fearful. Our society and our humanity is filled with emotions that sometimes are very complex and very hard. They're hard. They're just hard. They're difficult. If you've gone through physical pain, if you've gone through severe disappointment of any kind, there's pain and it occurs. And it's not necessarily bad or good, right or wrong. And the wonderful thing about that infinite that I understand is it doesn't punish. It doesn't punish. You may find that in your life that something is still or boring. I know none of you get bored, do you? Well, this is why you have cell phones, so that you can be distracted at any moment to read an article or somebody's opinion or experts. There are experts in everything. Have you ever recognized that you are an expert at being you? Did you ever think that? Probably not. Okay. But what you need to do is create a website, a blog, or a podcast and inform humanity that you are the best version of you that has ever been today. Meaningful life is the fact that throughout your life, from the time that you are born until about the ages of 5 to 7 years old, when the pituitary changes in your body. Did you hear that? In your body? What happens approximately at that time is there's a chemical shift that goes on in your brain. The chemical shift in your brain is not a bad thing, it's the reasoning thing. That's one reason why that 3-year-old or 4-year-old, you can tell them no. How many times? And do they hear you? Or do they understand what you mean no for? Not always. And yet adults are really fun because they will coerce, They will buy the children. They will give them that ice cream cone just to make them quiet. There's so many things that are happening out there all the time. You can observe it in humanity, and it's not right or wrong, good or bad. It just is what it is. You notice today that I'm being more serious. I'm trying to be more serious with you today, but I just want you to know that anything that you have done in your life, anything you've attempted, has significance because it allowed you to expand. It wasn't your successes. It wasn't the things you achieved that other people acknowledged and praised you for or clapped for you. It was what you attempted. The very first time I attempted to speak in this church was 1975. Yes, I have gray hair. And when I did, I stood up here and I spoke about the book, The Little Prince, and how the heart can see rightly. Isn't that neat? I spoke for 5 minutes and sat down. And meantime, I was wearing a rather creative garment. Not because I was being rebellious, but at that time, we had to wear long dresses and they often had to be more formal. Me, I would like to be up here in jeans, but that might not go over so well. Anyway, but that was my first attempt to wow an audience or to encourage people to listen to me because I felt like I had something inspiring to say. You've all been there, you've been in conditions, you've been in opportunities where you've done something, maybe it flubbed a little bit, or maybe it didn't turn out exactly the way you had intended. But because you participated, because you is you, and you're expanding constantly. That infinite that is in you, of you, is not just there from time to time because you call on it. It's there all the time. And how? How? It is what it is. Because if you notice, you will have inspiration. If you notice, you will have ideas. If you notice, you will begin to look at new opportunity and changes. And when you're questioning or uncertain, when you're feeling alone or you're feeling isolated in your choices, it's okay. Because quite often in the dream state, in your meditation, in your prayer, in your quiet time, whatever that might be. For me, it's not always the quiet time. I do active meditations all the time. To sit still and try to wind down, holy cow, I'm winding up. And so what happens is some people, when they attempt to quiet the mind, they will get restless, or they will find the body being very restless while they're attempting. Then they may not feel that they're doing it right. How many things in your life, you don't have to hold your hands up because I think it might be most of you. How many things have you done in your life that you didn't do right? How many things were you told you did wrong? How many words did you spell when you were a little person and the spelling got all twisted up? And you were being creative with the E and the I and the where did it go after the C and what? Yeah. Remember? Okay. Well, the last time I spoke, was it the last time? I mentioned the hokey pokey. You know, the hokey pokey that you learned when you were a little person? Well, I always think of the tea kettle or cup, pot. I got it. See, it came. I just constricted in and then it out. Okay, so the teapot, what I remember was I never felt like a teapot. But I kept trying to be like the teapot because we were singing it in the room. How many things have you done in your life that you were either supposed to do or trying to do or were learning to do? And so because you don't think they're successful, your sense of achievement of yourself may have been marred a little bit or a little bit more flexible than it needs to be. The flexibility, sometimes some of us become so insecure, we become like Gumby. So what happens for each of you, and me too, is the fact that our religion is pretty amazing for its hope and for its sense of potential. The fact that we believe in an infinite is pretty awesome, and everybody has their definition. You could go through this whole room and speak with a lot of people who have been in this church a lot or been in this understanding for years, and their comprehension of natural law would be different. Not different as far as right, wrong, good, bad, superior, or not. They may have read the books, they may have written what some of the teachers do. There's all kinds of ways that natural law plays a part, but we talk about in here and in these principles that we utilize from a separate spiritualist association, but we have said these for years. And in saying them, it's about happiness and unhappiness. It's got the word obey. I'm not an obey person. I still like chocolate, and so that gets in the way. But what it does mean is obey often means pay attention. Do it in a way that allows you your sense of hope and your sense of clarity because you have a future. Tied end to end, tied end to end on any child, and you were once one, trust me, I think I know that, is the fact that you have a tendrils connected with you from the time of your birth of possibilities and potentials. Those are not things you have to do a particular way. You didn't do something wrong because you didn't do it this or you didn't do it that. You made choices all the way. You made choices to have vanilla ice cream instead of chocolate. And then when somebody was enjoying their chocolate, you wanted that one. Maybe not, but that's an example. Meaningful life isn't because you need to achieve a certain wealth. You don't need to have a particular amount of money in order to be successful. But these times are amazing because expansion is what we were talking about. There's countries all over the world that are expanding their awareness and their changes. Do they agree with what we do here? Not necessarily. And would you want to move there tomorrow? Where some people are moving away, but people in general have always been nomadic, always been nomadic. So what happens with that infinite intelligence? Because many of you are wonderful at coming here and participating and talking about the spirit of a loved one who's passed on. Many of you have had an occurrence where someone has touched that understanding of life after death, and that there is no death and that there are no dead. And that's a beautiful thing. Is it a total thing? No. It's one aspect of that infinite that resides within you that can open up to a new thought, a new emotion, a new understanding. And do you realize how you expand when suddenly you feel inspired by anything? Anything. You open up about it. You expand out. And then that contraction portion that means decreasing volume doesn't decrease and get rid of it, but you've got a whole bunch of experiences from your past and a whole bunch of moments that you touched and you experienced in years past. A whole bunch of memory in here. May not remember it all correctly, may not all be clear, but how many of you talk about memories and roll them over and over and over again? Because within your brain, you have what I call constructs. And those constructs are based upon the chemistry of you when you were 3, 4, 5 last year, 10 minutes ago, all things. Yes, you've been challenged. Yes, you've gone through disappointment, but you're at a wonderful time in life. And it's a wonderful opportunity that you're here today. Not just because you get to hear me, well, that can do it, but that's not it. What's important is that you're giving yourself an opportunity to have more and more, more and more. The soul of you wants to create always. And how it creates is in the direction you're looking, not with your physical sight necessarily, but with your inner vision. And you all have it. You all have it. When you are waiting for somebody out here to tell you how to do it, how to work it, how to have it, then you are constantly going to have a little bit of fear that you're not doing it right, or that you're not doing it their way. And I'm here to tell you, did you ever really think about the word infinite? Kind of means a lot. Kind of means infinite, doesn't it? And that's more than a gazillion. So there's lots of opportunities, lots of opportunities. So you may have done something in your past that was rather humiliating. No? Well, I've done enough for all of us, I think. And some of those were really difficult because if I didn't make the team playing softball, then I felt like I had missed out or done something wrong or was less than. How about you? I have joked about this with other people, but in high school, I tried out for cheerleading. And I learned I had muscles that I never knew were there. And you know what? I didn't make it. And you know why? It doesn't matter. I just wasn't chosen for whatever reason. I could shout with the best of them. I can talk to the street out there right now if you really want, but I'm not here to do that. It's the fact that I felt disappointed. I felt like something that would make me look more successful didn't happen. What'd you go through? What did you go through? And was it so important, or does it make you the expert at being who you are today? The expert that is here today has the ability to expand into truth and into tomorrow. The ability to, even if you don't have the money that you think you should have, or the wealth that you recognize that a whole bunch of others seem to have, and you're struggling, well, hang on, refocus within yourself, get close to your purposes and intention, and start participating in your life more. And what happens is you suddenly have more than enough. It may not be riches that purchase this, that, and the other, but it may be life opportunities that come your way that you never dreamed of. And it's pretty amazing. It's pretty amazing. In 2015, I wrote a little booklet called A Forever Thing. It's a little booklet. It's 13 pages long. Or no, it's 13 minutes to read it, whatever. Anyway, but I felt like it was something that was almost channeled through me, because when I sat down at the typewriter, I just see typewriters, the keyboard. Okay, fine. Anyway, and it came on out. How many things have you created in your life that were like that? There's this magical, wonderful place that allows you to recognize the meaningfulness of you. Are you going to be like everybody else? Maybe, because maybe you're trying to be. Are you going to have all the things that you want? Maybe, and that's not a flaw either. But even if you don't have a love in your life, it doesn't mean you can't expand you to feel love in life itself. If you don't have the riches that you think you ought to have, okay. But instead of being disappointed, angry, fussy, suspicious, and jealous, move over here and recognize everything has a potential to change at any moment. And Buddha has talked about the fact that one person's thinking can be altered in a day. And what happens with that thinking? What happens is it can alter how somebody sees life. Yes, you have that at any moment. Some of you are going to be here at the service right after I am out of here. And that is a demonstration, and it's provided for you, and hope that you will feel some support in your life. Is that support the only thing? No. There's a greater support attached to it in here. And all you have to do is look, and all you have to do is feel. And are you going to do it right or wrong? You're going to do it your way. Your way. Will you add to you some new thing? Will you read a different book? Will you talk to a different person? Will you listen to other people? Of course. Your life isn't over. You're here. You're breathing. You're up. You're atom. Some of us don't know how long we have on this planet, and some of you have a whole bunch of time coming ahead. And you know what? None of us know the exact time that our soul goes on forever. Did you hear it? That our soul goes on forever. And there's an essence in any of us that will be able to do that. One more thing, because I know I can yak up here for a long, long time, but expansion means to increase volume. Contraction means to decrease. Which one are you focused on today? Open your mind, open your heart, because anything you've attempted in your life has been a success because you did it. And it's in here, and it's chemically in here. And because of it, no matter the results, you gained a tremendous amount. The part of you that can understand how to do certain things is because you bungled. You know what I did yesterday morning? I relearned a truth. I know none of you do this, but I relearned a new truth because the passenger window of my car was all the way down because somebody had been talking with me. And I had turned the car off so I could listen to them and they could discover if my glasses were someplace where I hadn't taken them. Anyway, it was very nice. However, I sat there the longest time not able to figure out how to put that window up. And you know what I was reminded of? I know none of you ever do this, right? I was reminded that cars with electric windows need to be turned on in order for a particular thing to occur. Just remember that for the day that I'm an expert on electric windows now. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you so much, Reverend Diane Davis. That was a wonderful, wonderful lecture.